having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our source material for this deep dive is, well, a bit different. It's not your usual articles or reports. We've got a direct feed into what people were actually searching for online about the 2025 NBA Finals. Pacers versus Thunder.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's kind of like looking over the collective shoulder of, well, everyone following the series, right? These search terms, they give you this raw, unfiltered look at exactly what grabbed people's attention, the questions they needed answers to, like, right away.
Exactly. So our mission here is to sift through this digital footprint, see if we can spot the key patterns, and really uncover what these searches tell us about the core story and the most compelling bits of this championship clash. What was the vibe during Pacers Thunder?
Well, diving right in, the first thing that really hits you naturally is the teams and the main players. You see searches like NBA Finals, OKC versus Pacers, Indiana Pacers, OKC Thunder. That sort of lays the groundwork. But then, bam, the star power just takes over almost immediately.
Right, yeah. Halliburton, Tyrese Halliburton, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, Shai. Those names are everywhere in the data.
Incredibly prominent.
Yeah, you expect the stars. But when you look closer at what people searched for about them, it gets pretty interesting. It's not just the names in isolation. It's tied to outcomes, performance.
Mm-hmm.
Searches like NBA Finals score, who won the NBA Finals 2025, Pacers score, OKC score. It just screams urgency. People want the result, and they want it now.
And what's fascinating there, I think, is how the data shows this kind of dual focus. People want the immediate result, sure, but they also need the series timeline. Terms like NBA Finals schedule, NBA Finals game one,
yeah,
and how many games in NBA Finals. It shows this clear need people have to just orient themselves, figure out where things stand in the whole series structure, and there's that specific focus on game one.
Why game one, do you think? It seems to pop up a lot.
Well, it sets the tone, right? It creates that first narrative hook. And these searches, they just confirm how important it is in, the public's mind. It gets outsized attention.
That makes sense. And that focus on the timeline and the immediate results, it leads right into the search for the moments, doesn't it? People aren't just tracking scores. They're actively looking for the highlights, the plays that define the game.
Exactly. Pacers highlights, Thunder highlights. Those are common, yeah. But the specificity is what's really telling. You see things like Halliburton game winner, Tyrese Halliburton game winner.
Oh, wow. That's specific.
Yeah, that single event clearly hit hard. It became a key search query itself, which suggests, it might have had real significance in how people saw the series playing out.
Okay, so highlights give us the peaks. What about the numbers?
Right. The numbers tell the deeper story of how those moments happen. Searches for match player stats, Tyrese Halliburton stats, Pacers box score, pretty popular. Standard fan stuff. But then you get even more nuanced terms popping up, like most turnovers in a finals game.
Huh.
Interesting.
It suggests that, okay, while lots of people want the big picture, there's definitely a chunk of the audience digging into very specific data points. They're trying to understand performance, maybe narrative threads like who might have choked or, where a game actually turned.
That level of detail is interesting, yeah, because it shows fan engagement really goes beyond just the final score. It's about how players performed, their efficiency, maybe even specific mistakes or records being broken. We also saw, the practical stuff too, like where to watch, and interest in figures beyond the stars, like the coach, Mark Daigneault.
Yeah, definitely. And if you sort of connect all these dots, these search patterns paint a pretty clear picture. It shows how a big part of the public consumes a major sports event like the finals these days. It's a mix, right? Broad interest in the teams and stars, an urgent need for scores and the schedule, and then this dive into the specific moments and the stats behind them, game by game.
So looking back at this unique deep dive into search data, it really hammers home that the public story of the 2025 finals was heavily about the stars, Halliburton, SGA, and the urgent tracking of scores, the schedule, plus those key highlights and stats.
Absolutely. What these searches truly reveal, I think, is the anatomy of fan engagement during a championship run. It's driven by the outcome, it's anchored by star power, and it's punctuated by those memorable plays and the numbers that back them up.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Given how these searches zoom in on results, stats, and those specific game moments, consider this. How does piecing together a championship run score by score, stat by stat, highlight by highlight, how does that fundamentally shape your understanding of how that team actually won? Like, what single stat or specific game moment from this Pacers-Thunder series, the kind people were clearly searching for, might actually be the one we all talk about years from now, the one that defined who lifted the trophy? Something to think about.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.